Hey everybody, it's MrDIRECTOREIGHT here, and today I'm going to show you how I created the 15th anniversary MrDIRECTOREIGHT Productions visual logo for 2025. Let's dive right into it. To coincide with my YouTube channel's upcoming 15th anniversary in November, the idea of a widespread overhaul of MrDIRECTOREIGHT's branding came from me just kind of becoming tired of the same production logo, profile picture, and all sorts I've been using since 2018. And actually, the motion logo itself dates back to 2016, as a prototype version made its debut at the end of the compilation video, MrDIRECTOREIGHT Best of 2016. So when you really think about it, I've been using the same branding for almost a decade, which is kind of crazy. The rebrand for 2025 would follow the same direction as the 2018 branding, just with a sleeker and freshened design with colors that are more soothing on the eyes. The gradient background consists of more relaxed black and blue colors, and updates would be made to the silhouette of Shadow the Hedgehog's head, adding a white outline around it, as well as the inside of his eyes also being white instead of blending in with whatever background would be behind it like before. And this branding would go on to be used on a more wider scope, obviously updating profile pictures and banners, but also leading to the creation of a new outro screen for videos, as well as a new thumbnail template, which has the shadow head placed in front of a blue gradient triangle that fades into the rest of the background behind it. But that's not even scratching the surface, because the most important part of the rebrand, arguably, is the production logo itself. The overall direction of the new motion logo was to do the same thing we did with the previous logo, only with way better execution this time. Much like the 2016 logo, the inspiration for this new logo was based off the 1984 Connecticut Public Television logo. Here's a concept of how the final result of the logo would look, and the story behind it is funny because I made this on my phone during a power outage when I was bored. This was the Shadow the Hedgehog action figure from Jazzwares that I used for this logo, although he is missing his legs unfortunately, but that ended up not being that big of a deal anyway. In this picture I previously posted on the channel, you can see that I wrapped the rest of Shadow's body around with a piece of green construction paper taped together. That way it will only have Shadow's head appear when removing the green screen using the chroma key effect. I placed Shadow on my dining room table under a full piece of green paper, and had a box placed behind it with yet another piece of green paper laying over it. For extra lighting, I have one of my phones, a Samsung Galaxy S22, placed on top of the box pointing downward. I filmed the live action footage using my other phone, that being a Galaxy S9. Filming the shadow head wasn't as much of a challenge as editing it into the logo was. All I did was just simply start up close over the side of Shadow's head, and then pulled back until I found the right spot to stop at. Putting it into the video editing software PowerDirector 12, I used the chroma key tool to get rid of all of the green screen surrounding the shadow head, but I did have to feather some artifacts that were left over to polish things up. Along with that, I had to restabilize the footage because the original shot was rather shaky due to me not using a tripod, and I also added some saturation and contrast to the video to give it more color as well. Adding on to the stabilization issue, because I kept moving the camera around on the editing shot that was supposed to stay still, I ended up just taking a screenshot of when the shadow head finishes zooming out to the center. I also sped up the live action footage as well to be in time with the music. The gradient background behind Shadow's head was animated using just a simple white transition from black. The 3D text was animated using keyframes. However, because I use a version of PowerDirector that doesn't allow me to use certain features, I had to animate every single frame manually, splicing every frame and changing the angle degree of the x-axis so that the text could look like it was flipping downwards on its side. I also placed the text on a blue background so that I could render the animation separately, and then use the chroma key effect to place it on top of everything else. For the zooming effects on the text, I used the crop video tool to make it look like the text was entering from outside the screen and would shrink to its appropriate size when the animation was finished. Now in the final logo, the duration of the text animating had to be sped up, so I changed the speed of the animation as well, which is probably the reason why it looks so janky, but it does the job considering what I'm working with, so I'm okay with how it came out. With the normal version of the logo, I noticed that there was a lot of extra space at the bottom of the screen, so what I ended up doing was just cropping the rest of it out because I found it to be not centered properly and also just plain unnecessary. The anniversary variant on the logo, on the other hand, I would exclude the production text and add in the milestone information in a gold flashy font, which actually made use of the extra space on the bottom. The gold sparkle on the number 15 was a stock visual effect I found somewhere on YouTube. Now here's a comparison of 4 different stages of production on the logo, accompanied with an unused custom theme composed by me. In the test render of the final logo, you might notice a slight editing error with the text at the end, which was removed from the official logo. The prototype music that ultimately ended up not being used was produced in FL Studio using the VSTs Harmless and Citrus. Then when I decided to just use the same fanfare from the previous logo instead, despite it technically being copyrighted, I remastered it using the plugins Fruity Reverb, Stereo Shaper, and Parametric EQ2 in order to make it sound cleaner and more spacious. That about wraps up the process on how the 2025 MrDIRECTOREIGHT Productions logo was made. I hope y'all enjoyed this little video and found it very insightful. It's not often that I show people how I usually make motion logos like this using the limited software I've always been using, but I am very excited about this rebranding effort. It just feels so fresh after having used the same designs for nearly a decade and should set the quality standard for this channel moving forward. Let me know what you think about this logo or this style of video in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss any new uploads. This is MrDIRECTOREIGHT signing off.